Waiting for people to show up. There we go, finally. I hate the delay of like waiting for people to show up. What's up, everybody? How are you? As you can see, we're just hanging out live streaming today. All right, there we go. There's everybody. Yeah, we're going live today, dude. It's been a while. I haven't done that. I try to do one of these at least, I don't know, like once a month, something like that. But yeah, I figured I'd hop on today, do a live stream with you all, just update you guys on some stuff, hang out, answer questions, you know, that sort of thing. So I hope everybody's doing well. All right, now everybody's pulling it or pulling up, showing up, whatever the terminology is. Cheers from Argentina. What's up? Cheers from the United States. Cheers from Philadelphia. What's the temp there? I don't know. It's pretty like average. It's like it's summertime here officially, so it's like, I don't know, like 80 something. It's nice finally. NAMM was trash. Yeah, so like I actually, what's up, Mike? How are you, buddy? I actually filmed the video. I didn't post it because I don't know. I didn't know if it was like in the style or the vein of what I'm used to creating, and that was kind of just like saying how lame NAMM was. You know what I mean? Like it was just such a bummer. But I filmed it and like I edited it, but I just didn't make it public just because I don't know. It was maybe a little too negative, too much negativity in a video because like there wasn't anything going on at NAMM, so you know, it was kind of a bummer of a time. But anyway, I still could publish it maybe like tomorrow or something, but I don't know. What's up from Germany? Hey Bill, how are you? Germany, my second home. I miss Germany. Cheers from the Philippines. What's up? Just got to meet Slipknot in Cypress Hill at a hotel I work with. I feel like I knew Mick after watching the channel. That's cool, man. Hope you had a good time at the show. Gonna be 100s here in a few days. Oh my god. So you're down in Texas, right? If I get there, somewhere down south, right? It's brutal. What's up from Brazil? What's up? Man, people from all over the world watching right now. I know, like, here in the United States, it's like, you know, it's like in the middle of 9 to 5 work time, but, you know, I just figure I could be a distraction, maybe. Saw Jared from Tone Wars did a lot of coverage. It was pretty boring overall. I keep waiting for some new tech to inspire me. Yeah, so, like, that was, like, the crux of my video I made. And I don't know. Maybe I'll reshoot it and, like, kind of not be... I don't know, I'm probably being a little self-conscious and, like, super analytical, over-analytical of myself. But, yeah, man, like, I was waiting for, like, something to, you know, really blow us all away. And, like, the Kaizen was, like, the main thing. And, like, that was rad. Like, that was awesome. But, you know, that was it. You know, like, there wasn't much else other than that. And, like, you know, Two Notes has some stuff. Mesa Barba has like, I think, a preamp pedal. Bossy Concepts has, like, a futuristic Strat style new thing. But apart from that, man, it's like, really wasn't much. So NAMM was kind of a bummer for me personally. I think a lot of people as well. What's up, Ray? I'm at work now, so I have to check in later, but I just want to say, hey, what's up, Patrick? And your videos are so inspiring. Thanks, man. Thank you so much. That's kind of you. I'm just a dude just trying to make it, you know what I mean? So thank you. Are you going to do a live stream for your album release or even play the whole album like, right? Hey, what's up, dude? So, yeah, so that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do a live stream. Just as a quick little update, putting out a song tomorrow that'll be on all streaming platforms. So that's super rad, super excited about that. It's called Neck Brace because it's you'll probably need one after listening to it. It's a heavy track, but it's got the bounce and it's a lot of fun to play and all that. So kind of reason why I want to do a live stream today. New song out tomorrow, but also too I'll do a live stream for my album release. Yeah, in some regard, I think at the time of my album being released, I think I'll be in Texas. I'm still coordinating a potential trip to Texas to do some stuff for the album. So that's in the works right now. But yeah, I would love to continuously do some more live stream stuff and like even play it live, either on a live stream or in a live setting. Yeah, so all the above. Good question. Thanks for asking, man. It's really sad Slipknot doesn't tour my country. Where do you live at? Seems like they're almost everywhere. Yo from England, what's up? Cheers from Idaho. Any plans on possibly demoing the Matt Hafey Origin model? Yeah, absolutely. I would love to get the 7-string, because you know how many 6-string Les Pauls have we had? Les Paul Customs, right? They all kind of do the same thing. So I would be really keen to see what the 7-string does with the extended scale. Even though a lot of people are saying like, oh, they should have did 26.5. You know, I could certainly see that, but you know, it works for Matt, right? So it's his guitar. Cheers from Italy. How am I? I'm doing all right. I gotta say, Italy's been incredibly supportive in terms of streaming numbers. So shout out Italy. Italy and the United States are my top 2 countries right now, so that's super rad. So I'm doing well. Thanks for stopping in today. Oregon in the chat. One of the few states I've yet to visit. How are you? Hey Scott, how are you? It's going. You know, like I said, just kind of just here hanging out with you all. Trying to just give my, like, today's like my off day. You know, I don't really ever have an off day, but I'm currently working right now, but this is a much more relaxed, you know, not shooting, not recording type of environment. So I'm doing well, man. Hello from my job on a forklift. What's up? I love forklifts. I used to drive one unloading trucks for a brief stint in my life. Prior to the military. That was fun, dude. I love forklifts. Forklifts are rad, so stay safe. Be careful. What drum software do I use? I use exclusively for my own demos Superior Drummer. However, I have no idea what was used on the album because I didn't mix it or master it. And I wanted to keep that a secret, like I said, for some potential Texas-related content. Do I have an acoustic guitar? I do not. What's your opinion on the EMG battery mod? So I'm not sure what you mean by that exactly. Are you talking like the 24-volt battery mod, to which I don't really know much about, or like adding a battery in general to your guitar? I don't know. The best way I'll answer it right now is, you know, I obviously love EMGs, and if it's if you're thinking about doing it, I highly encourage it. But in terms of like a 24-volt mod or whatever that some people do, I don't know anything about it. Am I doing vinyl for the release? Yes. So I'll let you guys in on a little secret since you're here watching. So the plan is the first batch of merch is coming through, and that'll be 50 limited CDs, just one of 50, numbered and like really like exclusive, and that'll be it. Like the V1s, the first run, the first, you know, batch of any sort of merch. That'll be here right at the time of it dropping June 24th. So the plan is when they sell out, use that money to fund the vinyl release. And I'm also going to Pale Fest, which is a like horror music convention in October. And I'm going to be, you know, having a little booth, a little vendor there. So the plan is to have the vinyl for that trip in October, and then, you know, be able to sell it as well. So trying to do it smartly and stagger the releases and stuff like that, so I'm not like flooding my own market with merch, and I would like to make it self-sufficient to where it funds itself, you know what I mean? So that's the plan. So we'll see, all subject to change, of course. Cheers from Minnesota, eh? Hey, what's up? I know Minnesota. Major props for your service, right? Ah, thanks, I appreciate that, very kind of you. Opinion on the new Meshuggah album. I like it better, I think, than the Violent Sleep of Reason. I was pretty underwhelmed with the Violent Sleep of Reason. Except for that one song, Clockwork. Like, that was rad. But apart from that, I was saying, I don't know, I like this new one a little bit. I like Broken Cog. I think that's pretty rad. I don't know, and I just saw literally today their like live performance at the Royal Albert Hall, and that was super rad. So maybe I'm a little biased because I saw, like, you know, I literally just watched that today. So hey Nikki, how are you? Good to see you. I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well. Cheers from Pittsburgh. Hey, what's up? My West Coast Pennsylvania neighbor. How are you? Where are you coming in Texas? So I'm planning on flying into San Antonio, Texas. So that's not too far from Dallas, but Texas is massive of a state, so it's like everything's far in Texas. Ray, are you using Line 6 cab models or third-party IRs in your Helix? If so, which ones? So I'm using all stock IRs in my Helix. I'm using like the Bogner ones, the Ubers. Those are like my favorites. Any known upcoming bands you've been listening to lately? Nah, like I've said this a couple times, I don't really listen to new music anymore. One band I've been really into this week is Def Leppard. I've been listening to Def Leppard like religiously the past like 5 days. Like I love Def Leppard, and I forgot how much I love them, so I'm like rediscovering them. So Def Leppard's the band I've been listening to a lot lately. But in terms of new bands, I don't really listen to new bands much anymore. Kind of like stuck in my ways of being an old head at heart, you know what I mean? Will you tour the new album that is coming out? Yes, that's the plan. That is definitely the plan. Again, it's all in stages and staggered. But if and when I do, I'm really looking forward to it because it'll be so streamlined and so smooth. I can't wait to have like a nice relaxing tour, you know what I mean? Hey, it's $5 super chat. Thank you so much. I will say super chats are not not recommended. They're not expected, but they're always welcome. So thank you so much, Matthew. $5. Thanks for being a continuing. Thank you for being a continuing inspiration for me as a person and musically. Oh, thank you so much. That's so kind of you. You didn't have to. You didn't have to do all that and say all that. Thank you. It really means a lot. I'm just trying. I'm really trying my best to. I don't know. Just be a good content creator, a good musician, and a good dude. So thank you. It means a lot. Thank you so much. Fooled by Def Leppard goes so hard, right? Like, is anybody out there? Like, it's so rad, dude. I've been watching a lot of the 1993 Sheffield full concert, like their hometown show from '93. Like, so good. Like, Armageddon it on that performance, so good. So, yeah, I've been binging Def Leppard. I was at the Royal Albert Hall show, yeah, so you can attest to that Meshuggah show. That was probably amazing. Never seen them live yet. Are you still going to the House of Masks event? The guys were passing out flyers and Slipknot show in Cincy. Yes, yeah. So, I said that a couple minutes ago, but just to clarify, yeah, I'm going to Pellfest. I will be there as a guest, as somebody on the flyer. Like, what an honor! That's super rad. It's like, obviously catered towards their demographic, but I kind of have, some ties to the House of Masks as, I did the intro music and I think just the intro music, yeah. And, I've been friends with AJ for a long time, so that'll be cool, man. Traveling to Ohio. Ohio's been really good to me. Any plans to join new bands or strictly solo artists? So, that's a tough question to answer because I've never really put a lot of time into being a solo artist. And now I am. And I don't know, like I haven't experienced like really pushing for it and then like putting out an album and seeing how I personally feel about it as opposed to being in a band. If I could choose, I would just do solo artists, but I don't know if that'll be all I want to do, or if that's, fulfilling enough to me. But if there's like an established band or just a band in general that like needs somebody and wants somebody and it's a good fit, I'm always open for it. Because I do love the camaraderie and the team aspect of any project in life. So, will I join a new band? Probably before, my time's up on Earth, whenever that will be. But yeah, right now I'm just all focused about putting out my own music, and I'm really, really proud of it, and it's really good. So we'll see how that goes. You know what I mean? How's all the rock metal scene up there in the USA? In LATA, I'm not sure what that's an abbreviation for. Latin America, perhaps, it is pretty much dead. LATAM? I don't know. But see, like, the scene in the United States is really big, obviously. Where I am located in Philadelphia, the scene's pretty underground and not really popular, like metal per se. But like when I was in Texas, like everywhere in Texas, metal's huge. So like Texas has a really big scene. Nevada had a pretty decent scene from what I saw. California always has a big scene with everything. So where I'm at, it's not necessarily like metal is big, but you don't have to find, or excuse me, you don't have to look too far to find a big scene in the United States. Because the United States has all sorts of different cultures and everything. And like I said, Texas's metal scene is huge, at least from my experience. Is there a band you would die to play guitar for on one of their tours? Right now it would be My Chemical Romance. Yeah, like, G and the boys are killing it this summer. And like, it's cool, like, being friends with that whole camp, and, Worm, my buddy Worm, hitting me up, telling me how, like, awesome it is. That looks like a dream tour. My Chem's killing it in 2022. But in all seriousness, like, on a, I don't want to say realistic base, but a more metal side based. I don't know, man. That's a tough question. If I would die to be like, that's a really hard question. If I could play guitar for anybody, who would it be for? I don't know, man. That's a really, like, I don't even know if I can answer that. Because, like, I don't know, like, I'll just say this, like, second guitar tracks for Limp Bizkit. That's what I would do right now. That sounds like fun in 2022. Being the rhythm guitar player in Limp Bizkit. Even though there isn't one, but that's what I would do. The hottest girl I ever dated was from Dayton, Ohio. What's up? Do you have any idea on what your set list will be for the live shows? Yeah, so I'm planning that. I was talking to somebody, putting it together in terms of a production. I was thinking about maybe just doing it from start to finish, like a full-on presentation of the album. The album's like 40 minutes, and I could probably cut it down to 38. I was thinking about this. I could cut 2 or 3 minutes out of it to make it a streamlined show, and then just like plowing through it. I thought that might be pretty cool, like a full-on live presentation. If not, obviously probably just pick the 5 or 6 best songs that are the heaviest and the most fun to play. But yeah, I would love to do it as like a start to finish presentation. That would be my set list, because I think, it's the album itself is a borderline concept album, which I'll elaborate more on as time gets closer. So like start to finish kind of seems fitting for that, and something a little bit different. Can I be your rhythm guitar player for your solo band? Pretty please. I'm still trying to figure it out myself. Maybe one day I could have a band. I think that'd be cool. But please explain pinch harmonic control. Ooh. Tough question to answer on a live stream. I'll ask you a question. I appreciate it, but what do you mean by control? Maybe I could help out live streaming here, or maybe make a dedicated video for it. Yo, Ray, big fan of your content. Keep it up. Oh, thank you. I'm trying. Thank you so much. Have I ever been electrically shocked? It's an interesting question. Yeah, like grabbing like an animal, like an electrical fence, like an animal-proof electrical fence, like on a barn. Yeah. I don't know if you guys can hear that. That's Ruby making noise. If you ever come to New England, I'm there for sure. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it. That'd be a dream to play out there. Would I consider touring beyond the U.S.? Of course. Of course. I have a friend who's going down to Mexico to tour for like 2 weeks. And the market's big down there. So, yeah, I would love to try to tour as many places as I could, right? That'd be amazing. Come back to the Memphis area. I love Tennessee. I'd love to. So my solo album instrumentals, or is there vocals? It is all instrumentals. NAMM looked fun from the videos. You're just trying to create drama. What? I haven't done anything about NAMM. Oh boy. If you come to Michigan, I'm there, right? Oh, right on, man. I got friends in Detroit. You can make that happen. Bringing on the heartache. You guys are still talking about Def Leppard. I love Def Leppard. No shame in that. So yeah, everybody, new song coming out midnight, actually. This midnight. Not tomorrow midnight, like tonight, like in 9 hours my time. So like 9 o'clock California time. I like this song better than the previous one. I think this might be my favorite one on the album. And it was the last one I wrote for the album. I wrote it and recorded it like 3 weeks ago. And it just made the deadline, so I'm really excited about it. Would you ever play 8-gauge strings in drop A? Nah, that's a silly question. Do I like Sepultura? I gotta be honest, not really. It's just I don't dislike them. It's just never got into them. You know what I mean? Like, you can only like so many bands. It's just never one I really got into. Any chance you're coming back to Cincinnati? Absolutely. Cincinnati was one of my favorite cities that I was at recently. So yeah. Absolutely. Matt's Tube of You. What's up? How are you? Anybody has some secret tricks to calm down a very hurt teeth throat? What's your opinion on the stage by Avenged Sevenfold? I was incredibly disappointed. I used to love Avenged and like in my teenage years, like pre-teens to teens, like 05 through 2010. I was a huge Avenged Sevenfold fan. Then Hail to the King came out. And it killed all that momentum. Because I thought Nightmare was so rad. But then Hail to the King was just like Metallica. Like, obviously there's nothing wrong with that, but it didn't sound like Avenged Sevenfold. And then the stage came out, and then, yeah. I don't know, kind of like lost interest a little bit. Can I come to Edmonton, Alberta, please? Maybe one day. I think High and Dry was the best album, not Pyromania. Ah, man. I think Hysteria might be my favorite. Hey, Eric, how are you? Keep doing what you're doing, man. Oh, thank you. I'm trying. Is 74 to 13 good for drop E? Yeah, probably. Depends on your scale length. Hey man, congrats on the upcoming album. From what I've heard so far, I loved it and can't wait to hear the whole album when it comes out. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. There's only been one song so far, but thank you. Got 8 more to go. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I'm excited, man. I'm really excited for tomorrow. Name a musical influence on you that would inspire us. Madonna. I love Madonna. I love a lot of hip hop and like R&B, but like TLC, Britney Spears, like pop music, Christina Aguilera, TLC, Madonna. I love that stuff. I really do. Whitney Houston. It's great songwriting, and like you can learn a lot about songwriting from pop music. And I love all the 80s and early 90s classics. So Madonna's the first one that comes to mind, but all of that stuff I love, man. Hi from Lithuania. Hey, what's up? Cheers from the US. I spent a decent amount of time in Lithuania. You've completely sold me on getting a baritone. I was just wondering which one would you recommend on a budget of about $1,500? Reverend, Solar, Schecter? Well, $1,500 is a great budget. That you can get a lot for that. Off the top of my head, I mean, in my honest opinion, I would go with a used Squier vintage modified baritone Jazzmaster. They're within that ballpark. That's a lot of money. that's what I would get. But also too, like let's say you want to go new, Reverend's good. Solar, the new 29-inch Solar would be really good. Another baritone. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Like go Solar, Reverend, or get a Squire, because those things are rad. Hope that helps. You should be able to find almost anything for $1,500 though. Avenged Sevenfold got way too heady. I dug Hail to the King. It had a more classic Maiden-like feel. Heavy, I think, maybe? Love your Balaguer guitars. Oh, thank you. I do too. I really love my Silverburst one. But ironically, I found myself recording a lot with the standard C-sharp guitar with the drop pedal. That one kind of came out of nowhere. And there's a whole tutorial on how to get that crazy sound that I've gotten out of it. Would you prefer a 7-string or a baritone? Oh, baritone all day. I think obviously. I love 7 strings, and I have 2. I have a Dean and I have a Kiesel. But I find that I don't need 7 strings to get what I need out of my head. You know what I mean? Like, I thought, like, reason why I say that is, like, I thought I needed an 8 string because I'm a sugar, for one. But 2, I thought I needed it to get the low notes out of my head as well as the high notes, as I continued to mold my creative style and really shy away from being a cover artist and just the gear guy, and start to put myself out there and be incredibly vulnerable as an artist. I learned, man, I don't need 8 strings, 7 strings. I just need 6, because I guess what I need, I just need a more simplistic approach. I guess why else would I need it? So definitely 7-string would be second out of the baritones, but a 7-string is my second favorite out of the evolution. Can't even speak. Out of the evolution of extended range guitars, it would go baritone, then 7-string, then like 6-string multi-scale, or like 7-string. Like I would try to get away from. You hear that voice crack? I would try to get away from using an 8-string as much as possible, just because I find that I just need a few strings to get the job done. Good question though. My favorite Def Leppard album was On Through the Night. Saw them open up for AC/DC. Wow, it's a heck of a bill. Heck yeah. What do you think of 11 to 49 drop C sharp on a SG? Too floppy or good enough? For me, good enough. However, if you ask somebody else, they'll say too floppy. I kind of sometimes like to run 10 to 46 drop C sharp on my Les Pauls because of the wiggle room that I can get with pinch harmonics. I have a very light touch, and I'm not like a punk rocker heavy right hand, or like a James Hetfield heavy right hand. I'm very, very light to the touch, so like I use light gauge strings. So to answer your question, to make it more about you, not about me, 11 to 49 I think would be great. I use lighter gauge, and I think it's fine. Matt, thank you so much for the $5. Really appreciate that. Matt's Tube of You. Thank you so much. Very kind of you. Super chats, they always catch me off guard, and they always make me a little bashful, but it means a lot because, this is my job, so it helps pay the bills. So thank you so much. Your support means everything. I got a 27-inch Solar, and it's having some electrical issues already. Uh-oh. Sounds, plays, and looks great, though. Uh-oh. Unfortunately, it is common. Not trying to, make excuses for anybody, but I would just take it to a local tech or just hit up Solar. They'll take care of you, man. What's up, Ray? Love the riffs on these new songs. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. All right, here's a question. I'll answer it. Do you care about politics in your music? No. I can listen to music with and or without. I'm not partial to it. If it's a good song, it's a good song. And a lot of times I'm so naive to what the song's about. If it just sounds fun, like I'll listen to it. Obviously, if there's like some real like hateful speech in a song, you don't want to listen to it. But what I'm trying to say is, like, lyrical content isn't my forte. That's why I like Limp Bizkit. You know what I mean? Like, singing about the silliest stuff, or even like some like Red Hot Chili Pepper stuff, like some goofy material in there. Like if it puts you in a good mood, I'll listen to it. So I think I would like between the two, I'd prefer it without. But you know, man, I'm not here. I'm just here to just listen to music and have a good time. You know what I mean? Hope that answers your question. Midwest guitar making. Hey Ray, figured just swing in before I go to work. Well, hope you have as good a time as you can at work. Hope you have a great time. And thanks for just stopping by and enjoying, you know, my silly little face while I'm at work, just hanging out with my friends, i.e. you guys. The Red Burst Reverend Baritone has been calling my name ever since I saw the Devil Wears Prada. Yeah, dude, like, Reverend makes some sick stuff. Do I use external pedals with my Line 6 Helix? I do not. The only one I would ever consider would be the drop pedal. But it has like a pitch shifter in there, and I haven't really A-B'd them. But that might work. Hey, Poo Ninja, what's up, dude? Yes, I am in Philly. How do you blend in an HM2 to add some grit without losing clarity? Very sparingly. What I would do is I would like, for that scenario, just off the top of my head, I'd have like 2 normal guitar tracks, one left, one right, and then I'd put a third one right down the middle with the HM2 and then bury it. That way it's like in there, but it's not like, you know, muddying things up. It's like the grit's in there. You know what I mean? That's what I would do off the top of my head. But an HM2 is not known for clarity. Like, it's known for that crazy sound, and that's fun. You know what I mean? What do you prefer, PV, Fender, EVH, Wolf, or Ernie Ball Music Man? Oh, okay. PV, Fender, EVH, Wolfgang, or Ernie Ball Music Man. Like, out of the 3, I think that's what you're asking. That's how I interpret it. I'm going to say PV Wolfgang because of the nostalgia. It's a pretty famous magazine. I think I still have it, but it's like the Guitar Legends Guitar World of like Eddie Van Halen from like 04, 05. It's like a black, white, and red magazine. They go for like $100 on Reverb now. Anyway, on the back or towards the back, there was an ad for like, it was like Play Like Eddie, we'll say. And it was PV Wolfgang for sale, PV 5152, and I believe the just released at the time, the Phase 90 EVH. Like, those 3 things were like being sold like as a musician's friend ad. I'll never forget it. It was a red tiger striped like flame top PV Wolfgang. I like the PV Wolfgang just from nostalgia. Like, that was like, it's what I saw Eddie play. I saw him play that Cherry Burst one with the Sustainiac on the 04 reunion tour. A lot of sentimental value to that guitar. Going into guitar shops, there's a place called the Guitar Villa in Quakertown, Pennsylvania that used to have PVs in stock. I would just marvel at them, you know. I couldn't afford them. I was 11, 10 at the time, whatever. So yeah, out of those 3. But I've owned and played a lot of the EVH Wolfgangs, and they're great too. Never could afford or had the desire to play a Ernie Ball Music Man EVH, because by the time I was old enough to afford one, they were like, they were through the roof, and now they've just since skyrocketed with current events that have happened. So, yeah, dude. PV Wolfgang. Good question. Is Balaguer a good metal guitar, like enough to challenge a Jim Root Jazzmaster V4? Yeah, I mean, at its core, it's just a piece of wood. You know, it depends on what you put in the guitar. I know Balaguer, you know, if you did like a select custom Balaguer, it would have more specs than the Jim Root Jazzmaster V4, and that's not like a knock to that guitar, but just, you know, you get stainless steel frets with it depends on what you want, you know what I mean? Like, if you wanted to spec out a Balaguer to look exactly like the Jim Root and like have the exact same specs, it's probably going to play identical. Like, there's not going to be any differential stuff. But if you're asking, like, is a Balaguer guitar good? Yeah, absolutely. I obviously think so. But Fenders are great too, and everybody knows that. So it's about what you want, you know what I mean? At this day and age, you can pretty much get whatever you want from almost every single company, especially like a custom shop, you know what I mean? So it all depends on what you want. Good question though. Do you like any goth style metal? Like, the only goth, I mean, you guys are gonna laugh, but I love MCR and My Chemical Romance. That's like my emo. But like, in all seriousness, like emo metal or like goth metal, not really. I don't even really know what that is. I'm trying to like what's goth metal? Like I know the band Bell Witch. I like Bell Witch, but what is that? Is that goth metal? Like kinda like, but not really. It's more like shoegazy art metal. So it all depends, man. To answer your question, I'm pretty naive with that genre. Orion Williams, what's up, dude? How are you, buddy? Miss you, man. Hope you're doing well. Thoughts on the Balaguer American series Blue Sparkle Espada? Well, it's a very odd, specific question to ask because you may have saw my comment. That's only why I'm giggling. But like, that one was my favorite out of the 3 that they posted. I really like the shell pink one. I just wish it wasn't a relic finish. But regardless, it's cool how Balaguer is like starting to delve into USA production models, something that they've been wanting to do for a while. I think they did a few years back and then kind of stopped, maybe. Anyway, it's back now, so that's super rad. Greetings from New Zealand. Asked Ola and Luis for a guitar with gold everything, but like T-Fab? Thoughts? I don't know who or what T-Fab is, but an old gold guitar is always rad. I'm always down for that. Taylor, what's up, man? Ray, on the album, do you prefer working with live drummer or drum machine? So, I guess, gotta be honest, I'd prefer a drum machine because it's just faster. And I always write to drums. I very, very rarely ever write a riff first. I always write to the groove of the drum. So, if I can just have like a MIDI drum loop just looping in the background, I can find myself being inspired faster as opposed to just coming up with something from scratch. So when it's my turn to write and when like it's not a band setting, I prefer drum machines. Now in terms of playing, I mean, nothing will ever beat a live band in my opinion. But in terms of just like getting ideas out, yeah, fake drummer, drum machine. Superior Drummer 3 all day. Because of you, now I want to buy a guitar with J Master pickups, but thank you. Happy to help. In all seriousness, man, yeah, like EMG came out with those guitars pickups, man, and what an honor to put them in my guitar kind of first, we'll say. Super rad. I don't know when they'll be out though. I think I have like the first black pair of Jazzmaster pickups that they built. It's crazy. What an honor. Like EMG is my favorite company. I haven't heard of that store name in a while. The good old days of Guitarville and George's Music, man. I miss PA. Yeah, I was hoping there would be a local player in the stream. But yeah, dude, what a cool spot, man. Right on 309 Guitarville, right by the AutoZone in like 03. Am I gonna try to get Matt's new Epiphone? Yeah, I'll try to get the 7-string one. Dude, what's such a bummer, man, is just how expensive everything is, man. Like, those Matt guitars would be like almost half the price like 3 or 4 years ago. Like now it's like, if I personally want to fund that, I have to come up with $1,100 for an Epiphone, man. And it's like, such a bummer, dude. So, I mean, we're all in the same boat. I ain't nobody special, but it's just the days of like being able to afford stuff are gone. It's crazy. Hey, Ray, streaming on my birthday. Hey, happy birthday, Luke. I hope you're doing well. Hey Ray, have you seen the new EC1000 Baritone Charcoal Metallic Satin? Greetings from France. How new are we talking? I'm going to do a quick Google search here because if that's new, I haven't seen it. Because last I heard from anything from ESP really was like their Phase 1 that came out in January. And then like whatever happened to Phase 2? You know? So I'm trying to multitask here, bear with me. I think I might have seen this. You guys will have to let me know. I think I've seen this. If so, it's okay. I'm not really a fan of all blacked out guitars. Somebody once called me out on that. I was like, well, that's ironic. My arms are blacked out. But in terms of a guitar, I just think it's not me. It's too metal. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not... Look at me. I don't look the metal part. Like, all blacked out guitar. I can't pull that look off. So I'll have to do some research. But what I just found, I mean, it looks rad, just not really my thing. What's your take on American-made versus Asian country-made guitars? I usually think American-made guitars cost way more than they're worth. Yeah, that's a tough question. That's like a sticky question of sorts, or maybe just like a not sticky but detailed. Like it's a topic for debate. All right, honestly, in my honest opinion, I'll be straight up, dude. I literally don't care anymore. I used to. Because I guess that was like what you're kind of, what's taught. Like the higher end is always better. It's kind of what you're taught. Now that I've been fortunate enough to have this channel and have my own experience, I really don't care, dude. And like my two baritones, my number 1 and number 2 baritones are both made overseas. Squire's made in Indonesia. Balaguer was assembled in Korea and then QC'd in Pennsylvania. So it doesn't bother me anymore. I don't care. And I've learned that no matter what I play, I sound like me. It doesn't matter the country of origin of the guitar. The only thing that is like a reason, at least in my opinion, why the guitars are so expensive and why they like that matters so much is like on the used market, like the collector's market. Like the Gibson and Fenders, USA's, and Dean's too, PRS, Jackson, you know, all the big USA companies, they're just worth more on the used market. And I don't even really know why that is, but it's like from the collector standpoint, the collector's market, USA guitars just hold more value. But in terms of like performance, I can't tell the difference. Like if we did like the Pepsi Challenge, blindfold challenge, I don't think I could tell the difference. Oh, thank you so much, man. Another super chat. Very kind of you. Can't wait for the release. Is soloing something you're just not into, or is it you're not at the level you want to be at yet? Your chops sound pretty good to me. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, whenever I say like I'm not a lead player, I'm not like fishing for a compliment. But like, oh no, your lead playing's good. No, it's not what's inspiring to me, and it's not what comes natural to me. Because I'd like to think if I am given an allotted amount of time, I can learn a solo or come up with something that's relatively interesting. And there are a lot of solos on my album, but I put solos in where I felt they needed to be and fit the overall picture, you know, the soundscape, the landscape of the song. I don't ever like seek out to be like, all right, here's my solo album. It's got to be, every song's a 6-minute solo. Like, I don't believe in that. So it's not that my chops aren't where they want to be. I think my lead chops are okay with, like I said, with some practice and some fine tuning. But like what inspires me and what I identify myself as is like a riff writer. I'd like to think I could come up with an interesting riff and song structure and song progression, chord progression within an hour, but like a detailed solo, an intricate solo with like a crescendo and a story would take me like arguably a week, maybe more, depending. So that's just, I don't like self-deprecate my lead playing, you know, so you guys like think I'm like poo-pooing my own playing. It's just like I just don't identify it. Like that's not what inspires me, and that's not what comes naturally. So I hope that answers your question. Good question. Yeah, I'm content with my lead playing, but it's like it's just harder for me to come up with an intricate solo. I like riffs, you know what I mean? Which is more expensive nowadays, a Gibson Les Paul or a gallon of gas? Dude. Right? What a bummer. Dude, really digging your Fender Ultralux Strat. Oh, thank you so much. I love that thing now. It's just over there. I was fighting that thing, and that thing was on the chopping block in terms of getting rid of it. I was like, I've waited so long for this Strat. But it wasn't good sonically for metal, in my opinion. So now that it's up and running and EMG helped out with that, it's great now. Right, thanks for being an inspiration and really positive influence in this day and age. Oh, stay metal. Oh, thanks, man. I'm trying. I'm trying. Thank you. I'm really trying. Not necessarily to be an inspiration per se, but I don't know, try to put some feel goods out there, some feel good vibes. That's all I'm trying to do. Jason S, what's up, Ray? I made it. You did. You made it. You're here. What's up? Aristides, everything for me. Yeah, Aristides, they're rad. Just, I don't think I've ever played one. They're like one of those elusive brands that like you only hear about. It's like them, Mayones, Vola. There's a lot of brands that I've never played yet, and I hear about them. It's just, they're hard to come by. FYI, not interested in a USA Gibson. Want a quality single cut? Buy a Solar. But having said that, I'd buy a Fender USA. It's all good, Peter. Okay, so like in terms of single cut, Gibson ain't your buy, but you're partial to USA Fenders. Yeah, USA Fenders are rad. Obviously, I have a bunch. I love them. Ray, my brother, I'm glad I finally caught you live. Hope you've been well. I know you probably get this question a ton, but what cab would you get for home practice and live to run amp sims through? I don't get that question a lot. That is a very specific question. Dude, I don't even know how to, like in terms of running an amp sim through a cab, dude, literally no idea. I have no idea what I would do. I'm not the guy for that. I've never even thought of that. So, like for live, I mean, depend on your budget and all that. I have no idea. Best way I could answer that from a modeling standpoint would just be to get an FR cab, like a head rush cab, head rush monitor, line 6 powered cab, or a Kemper cab. But again, I don't know your budget, and I've never even thought about putting an amp sim through a cab. I have no idea. I would have no idea. Is it possible to learn metal at any age? Yeah, absolutely. It's never too late. I'm still trying to figure it out myself, and I'm not saying that to be like, silly or whatever. Like, yeah, man, it's never too late. I learned jazz when I was 25. Never listened to jazz in my life and was just like thrown into it, all of a sudden. I'm very thankful of that time period of my life, learning jazz and studying jazz. Never too late. Nick, hey Ray, love your channel, man. Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Radio, what's up, brother? How are you, sir? Good to see you, man. Stop burning dead things for power. Go solar. Ah, I think I get it. Like the sun. I hear a good riff from Ray and I go and play it myself. LOL. That inspires me so much. Thank you. I'm glad you want to play it and not want to hear it ever again. Those Railhammer pickups in your Les Paul, would you recommend? Yes, probably my favorite passive pickups I've found in a very long time. They're great. Yeah, they're super rad. Railhammers are awesome. Like I have a pair, I think they're chisels in my Reverend baritone. I'm not really a fan of for baritones, but the I don't even know what's in the bridge. The Anvil, I think it's called, from Railhammer in my Les Paul. Yeah, I'd recommend it. It's so awesome, dude. Hey Ray, how do you feel about? I don't even know who that is, so I don't even want to say that name in case it's bad. Chris, I don't know who that is. I can never be too careful. Sometimes I feel like, I don't know. I try not to speak out of ignorance. Ernie Ball, beefy slinkies or burly slinkies? I don't know. Regular slinkies. Can you give me a rundown of your writing process? I can riff, but it's hard for me to link pieces together. Yes. Maybe perhaps we'll do a video on it. But for right now, since you asked and you're, here chilling, I would recommend listening to pop music and like listen to song structure. Because that's why, I mean, it's called how it is. Prog rock isn't exactly the most popular genre. Because like progressive music doesn't really sell to the mainstream. Not that you're trying to like please a mass amount of people. I'm just saying you can find a lot of inspiration from pop music on how to put a song together. Intro, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, verse 2, etc. You guys know how a song goes. So that's what I would recommend. It's like in terms of like trying to find inspiration to put a song together. Any chances on checking out the new Harley Benton baritone? Yeah, just time, money. Any advice for a newbie playing fast? I find myself picking before I can get my fingers in the right place. Yeah, I mean, I'm probably not the best to ask in terms of like technical speed, but I just remember I grew up learning cover songs. That's like how I got my chops. And I remember I didn't have the capabilities to slow things down or anything like that. I didn't have access to a metronome when I was a kid. So like I would just play to speed. And it would be sloppy and terrible bad habits, I'm sure, but like just over time forcing myself to play up to speed, I like would like anticipate certain parts and like I could string them together before I fell off. And like I would just slowly build on like stringing things together to where like you got it up to speed. Whether that's like you have to sit out for a bar or two or a measure or two, whatever, like a beat or two, and then you can jump in, do that. But I would just recommend just playing every single day. Time on the fretboard just inherently will make you better. Even if it's not like speed specifically, just practicing and playing will get you good at something else. And if speed's your weak point, like it was for me, it'll come eventually. It just takes time. But while in the process of developing your speed, you'll develop other tools. That's at least in my experience. Here's a good one. I could not recommend listening to pop music more if you want to understand both writing and production. Exactly. That's why it's so popular. Hence the name. The name's in the definition of the genre. Popular. Pop. Robbie says, "Greetings, Ray. I'm at work about to teach a class. I thought I'd say what up before I do. Greetings from Riverside, California." Cheers from the East Coast, man. Thanks for stopping in. Just met Jim Root in person 2 weeks ago. Great guy. Yeah, he is. He's my buddy. Good friend. Alex, what's up? How are you? Hold up, pop music equals popular music? Yeah. Groundbreaking stuff. I'm just blowing everybody's minds today, apparently. Hey dude, cheers from Sweden. Have to ask, why a baritone? Why not a 7 or an 8 string? Why compromise when it comes to the high register? See, I don't view it as a compromise. I view having more strings as a compromise. I view that as like accepting that you're going to have more at your disposal than you need. I view that as a compromise. I view that like you're like giving in, like you don't need that much. Like you're playing something that doesn't fit the job. I feel that as a compromise. So a baritone, to me, is I don't have all of the things that I'm trying to use an analogy here. Like let's say like when we were kids we get like a 96 Crayola crayon box, but we need to paint or draw color in a picture. We only need 4 colors. So rather than going and buying a 96 pack of crayons, I just go to the store and I buy the 4 pack. And I'm using the same 4 crayons I need or crayons I need out of the 4 pack as I would the 96 pack, and now I have 4. Like I only need these colors. I don't need all the colors. So a 7-string and an 8-string, it's like there's too much there for me that I have no interest in using. And if I need a lead or something like that, or if I need like a really intricate solo, I'll just record it on a 6-string, like on a standard scale 6-string. Now, when playing live, could run into some issues, but there's technology along the way, like a drop pedal or something like that. And actually, a lot of the double drop C sharp stuff that's on the album is on just a standard scale guitar, and I'm just using the drop pedal. So when it's time to get like not baritone tones, I just step on the drop pedal, turn it off. Now I have a standard scale. Then when I want a baritone, hit the drop pedal. Now I'm back in double drop C sharp. So it's kind of like a cute little thing that I kind of came up with. But yeah, to answer your question, like I don't need all the colors. I just need a couple. You know what I mean? I need a couple crayons. I don't need all of them. And I found out just through trial and error, like baritones just suit me better, and it's more comfortable, and I can feel not as overwhelmed, and all the above. So that's why baritone. Good question though. I remember like 10 years ago, the only guys who used baritones were like country musicians. Yeah, and I remember 10 years ago, like 8-strings were like the new thing, and like 7-strings had just been out for a couple years. Generally speaking, within reason. Before the fad, really took over. And then after 8-strings, it was 9-strings and 10-strings. And then it became like multi-scale, like 8-string multi-scale, 7-string multi-scale. Whereas like for me, a baritone is like a multi-scale. Like, for me, it's just like a baritone's a multi-scale guitar without the upper register. I have the multi-scale, the baritone scale across the board. I don't need the higher stuff. That's just what I've come to find out over the years. Thoughts on Gojira? Great band. I know all the hits. That's the best way I could describe it. Will you share your Helix presets that you make or might make? Yeah, I was thinking about it. Somebody asked like if I would want to sell them. Something I could look into. Yeah, let me know if you guys would be interested in that. Could certainly whip that up, right? I love the Helix. I love it more than the Head Rush. I'm currently, you guys know Taylor, another YouTuber, another metal YouTuber. He's an amazing player, but he literally just put out a video. Kind of not upset at him, but just terrible coincidence. He put out a video, kind of like a spring cleaning video, and I literally am in the process of doing that. And like I think I'm gonna get rid of the Head Rush. It's right here, again for like the 4th time in my life, for good. Love the unit and everything, but the Helix is way better. And then I want to try like a Kemper stage, or like get some sort of Axe Effects floor unit. I like floor units. I think they're pretty rad. So, anyway, a little bit of a tangent there. Have I heard of the band Spirit Box? Yes, I have. They're awesome. Hey man, what's a good amp with a lot of sustain? I think every amp has sustain if you dime it, but to like put it into context of like metal, I don't know, probably EVH from my experience. Victory. I don't know. Sustain doesn't really come from the amplifier. It kind of comes from the guitar. And a blanket statement would be like set necks and neck throughs have more sustain than a bolt-on. Don't quote me. But you can pretty much get any sustain if you just dime the gain, you know what I mean? Same with Gojira, Trivium, great band. I know all the hits. I'm not really into like, I'm not like a super mega fan of like, I don't even know what you call that, like the modern metal sound. Like really tight, chuggy riffs with like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. I feel like Gojira and Trivium are kind of in that same ballpark, like that same style of metal, which is great, but I don't know. I think I was a little too old by the time Gojira and Trivium kind of came around to where like, I don't know, it's that style, that genre of metal was never my favorite. It's like, it's awesome, it's great, but it's like I don't dive super deep into that for me personally, and I don't even know how you describe that. And Lamb of God kind of like borderlines that as well, and that's kind of like why I kind of fell out of touch with Lamb of God. I feel like they changed their sound a little bit. That kind of like, I don't even, just modern metal sound, but not gent or technical, just kind of groove metal, rock and roll metal, whatever you want to call that. You know what I'm trying to say. Thoughts on the Quad Cortex? I got a video on the Quad Cortex. Got all my thoughts and opinions on all in the Quad Cortex. It's actually Fluff's. Fluff sent it in for me to check out. Let me borrow it. Hey Ray, just checking to see if you're still using your Headrush MX5 or have you sold it already. So I'm not using it. It's over there. I'm probably going to sell it. And if anybody wants it, they'll get it for a really good price because the input bolt, we'll say, the hex bolt or, you know, it's either 6 sides or 8 sides. Anyway, it snapped when I was on tour in California for the first time, and I never used it again. It still works, but like, it's kind of broke. So if anybody wants it, it's just a superficial aesthetic thing. I'll get rid of it for like a third of the price, but kind of a bummer. But yeah, I don't really use that, and then like I said, I'm probably gonna get rid of my big boy Headrush and start using Line 6 stuff, because Line 6 stuff, in my opinion, sounds better. What kind of drummers do I like to play under? I don't know, ones that keep time, ones that are easy to get along with. Not saying that Mastodon isn't modern. I mean, in general, yeah, I'd put Mastodon in that same category. Mastodon's a little bit more rock and roll, at least anymore nowadays. But yeah. Favorite pop punk band? Punk band, Sex Pistols. Pop punk, pop punk Paramore. Tongue twister. Paramore. I mean, MCR is kind of pop punk, but not really. They're kind of emo. Probably Paramore, or like Day to Remember, maybe. Just released my first EP a couple weeks back. I'm doing instrumental metal music. Oh, congrats on the release. That's awesome. What's my approach to writing instrumental metal? This is a very hot topic, hot question. I'll make a dedicated video. But since you're here, start with the drums, and then I just try to think of like, honestly, what would I like? Because, you know, you're not gonna sell millions of records doing in instrumental metal. Like, it's a very niche, nerdy genre. So don't think like you should try to please the masses, because it ain't gonna work. I mean, so my approach was to just write for me and what I think is cool. But like I said, Chronic Pain is like a borderline concept album. If you look at the titles of the tracks and put the emotion of the track to the title of the song and understand my story, my life story, it's kind of like a concept album. Not only for my physical ailments, but for the way the world has been over the last 2.5 years. Chronic Pain is a pretty fitting title. So, in the duration of me personally writing the album, I've had like 10 or like 9 or 10 surgeries, 8 surgeries, something like that. So it's just kind of been the theme of my last 2.5 years. Macedon makes you want to shroom again. There you go. Yeah, same. Modern metal kind of got stale for me. An all-time favorite for me that never ceased to amaze me is Mastodon. What a band. Okay, yeah, so a lot of you guys were asking about Mastodon. Apologize I didn't see that. Yeah, like that like I said, that modern rock and roll metal. I don't even know what you call that. Not progressive, not gent, just like Lamb of God. You know, the generation that came after thrash, like Metallica and Megadeth. The Triviums, the Gojiras, the Lamb of Gods to an extent. You know, Pantera's kind of like a bridge as well. Like, all that stuff's cool. But it just, for whatever reason, just never was my favorite. It's always like second or third favorite of genre of metal. I guess new metal was my first. And like Gen, I love that stuff, man. So that's just what I kind of grew up with. Am I into thrash metal? So nah, not real. Again, kind of not really. Just what I grew up with. You know, you kind of wear the influences of what you grew up playing and listening to. And I grew up listening to rock and like 60s, 70s rock and roll, Rush, Aerosmith, Zeppelin, Van Halen, The Who, Sex Pistols, like Def Leppard, like all that stuff. That's what I grew up listening to. So like I didn't grow up on thrash, and then like just victim of circumstances, I got friends that were into new metal, and you know, that's just, I got into Linkin Park and Limp Bizkit and Slipknot and Mudvayne and Deftones, and that's where my path went. So like I kind of didn't get to thrash till later in life, and by then the ship kind of sailed to where like, you know, I could only visit like the big four like after years after they had been successful and been the main thing. Same with Pantera too, to some extent. Oh man, got a ton of stuff here now. Thanks for all you guys' engagement. Really means a lot. Keeps me busy. What's up, Dustin? Suh. Ray, Solar now has a parts site according to a request from me. I wanted a Peter Moore gloss black gold hardware GC 1.6. Oh, that sounds rad. They have a parts store, is that what you said? Parts site. Okay. I'll have to do some research on that. What's my take on Charvel? I have 2 of them and love them. Thanks. So, Charvel, one of those brands that like I respect and wish I could get into. Just doesn't really fit my mold. I've used Charvels as like shredders and 80s guitar players, generally speaking. So like none of my favorite guitar players really play Charvel, and growing up they didn't really all that much. I mean, obviously with the exception of one player. Okay, I'm aware. But again, I just kind of grew up in the land of Gibsons and Fenders. Charvels just really weren't my thing. Yeah, like I hate saying like, Jacksons aren't my thing. Charvels aren't my thing. Like, you know, I fit a certain mold of like a dad rocker riffer. So I just never really grew up on Charvels and all that stuff. I don't even think I've ever owned a Charvel. They look great and I love them, but like Satchel uses them. Jakey Lee uses them. So, you know, great players use Charvels. Just never really was my thing. Been following you for a good while now, and it's always been fun and just positive. So rare in this world today. Thank you. I'm trying. I'm really trying. Thank you. like I said about 30 minutes ago, an hour ago, whenever that was, I'm not necessarily trying to be positive, like overly positive. I just don't want to be negative. Like, I don't want to be I try my best not to be like a downer, because you don't have to look very far to find that. So if that in turn makes me a positive, I mean, I guess I try to be a positive guy and, you know, uplifting. Thank you. That's all I'm trying to say. Thank you. I'm really trying. Definitely trying to bring some feel goods into the world through my music and through my content creation. So thank you. What are your big 4 bands for life? Off the top of my head, Led Zeppelin, Van Halen, Slipknot, Sex Pistols. There's 4. That was pretty quick. I can't believe I came up with that so easily. Yeah, that'd be my big 4. And if you asked me 2 days ago, Def Leppard would be in there. When writing riffs, do you ever come across moments where you feel like you've heard the riff you wrote before, but you can't put a label on it? I swear I heard it before, but I don't know where. No, I honestly don't think. Sounds incredibly ignorant, but I don't ever think I've ever written a riff that I've heard before too much, within reason. Sometimes it happens, like, in hindsight, somebody will point out something to me, and I'm like, oh, yeah, there's that influence, which is totally cool. But, no, like, I always try to just write something as unique as I possibly can, and I don't think I've ever really had that problem. Maybe it's because I listen to, like, a lot of classic rock, but then when it's my turn to play, I write and drop F and, like, play past the 12th fret all the time. Maybe that's why it's a little bit more unique, but, like, I don't know, every once in a while, like, I'll hear, like, certain inspirations in there, but I don't think I've ever, like, accidentally wrote, you know, Smells Like Teen Spirit or whatever. But I certainly do hear my influences in there. Those, I wear them proudly, and, like, I view that as a compliment. Like, if somebody says, oh, that sounds like this artist or this band, I view it as a compliment, because the person that they usually name is pretty well respected. And while it's not my goal to emulate a certain style one for one, it's cool to, like I said, wear your influences on your sleeve. So I have to go, Ray. Thanks for being with us today. Gotta get to sleep early to cure the... Sorry to hear you got that. But hey, you got this. Just chill out. Drink some OJ. You'll be alright. And all seriousness, man, feel better. Thanks for hanging. And I'll see you in the comment section, alright? Hey, what's up, Ray? Out of all the amplifiers you have in your room, which is your favorite? Good question. Probably just out of frame. Over there is my gold-plated dual rectifier. That is the coolest they have, man. It's like a limited edition 50th anniversary Mesa Boogie. Gold-plated dual rectifier. Like, how gaudy. How bougie is that? But I love it, man. It's so rad. You know, a close second would probably be my Super Kraken. The Victory stuff records better and sounds better. Like, less work that needs to happen. But it's a gold and black dual rectifier. Like, that's so rad. You know what I mean? Like, that's so rad. And, you know, Mesa Boogies, they require a lot of work and require some overdrives and all the above, right? But at the end of the day, what it is, it's pretty cool. So that would be my pick. Good question. Your mixes have gotten a lot better over the last 3 or 4 years. Oh, thank you. Trying. Any processing tips you can share? I mean, I haven't changed my mixing approach and or plugins for the past 2 years, really. I mean, every once in a while, like, I'll get a mixing plugin for a demo video, and, like, I'll try it and all that. Like, and it'll find its way sparingly. Like, the big new one, the Control Hub from STL Tones, I find myself using that a little bit more. But my approach, long story short, is just to make your mix quiet. Because you can always add signal to to your mix. You can always make a mix louder, but you can never undistort a distorted, muddled. Is that a word? Muddled? It's a word now. I'm using it. Muddled mix. You can always make a clean signal louder, but you can never turn down and or clean up a distorted signal. I guess you can turn it down, but you can't unclip something. So when I'm mixing, I just try to make everything as quiet as possible. Then when it's my turn to master it, aka post mix it with another plugin, it's pretty easy. Ray, I love you. Oh, I love you. Thank you so much. Shane, what's up? Do I have a favorite song on my new record? Can't wait for the release. Oh, thank you. So for those of you who are still watching, new songs coming out midnight Eastern Standard, 9 p.m. Pacific on all streaming platforms. So there is 67 of us watching right now. If all 67 of you guys followed me like on your favorite streaming service or like Spotify, that'd be super rad. The name Stay Metal Ray is my solo project. That moniker has taken on a life of its own. I can't stop it now. So yeah, everything's released under my channel name, Stay Metal Ray. That's me now, which is super cool, honestly. My favorite song, there's one coming out tomorrow. It's called Neck Brace. I like that one a lot. Endorphins was rad that I just released. So Neck Brace is probably my favorite. But then there's also a song called Take a Deep Breath In and Count Back from 10 that I really like. It's like a 7-minute song, and it has like piano solos that I wrote and performed. So I'm really proud of that one. That one has a lot of like kind of trippy, ambient, quiet parts. So those are my two favorite. Stay Metal Ray, Can't Be Stopped. It's self-sustaining now. Dude, the name is like taking on a life of its own. It's kind of cool. It's very cool. And you know, and if I could do, if this solo stuff does well, man, I could, you know, never thought I'd be a solo artist, but here we are. We're knocking on the door of like being a real sustainable thing. And I'm so blown away and so thankful for all your guys' support and love with just one song, man. Like, we only got one song out, and it's awesome. Like, not only, I think the song's awesome, obviously, but the reception is awesome, too. So, just thank you. Really cool. Is it just me, or Squire and Epiphone killing it more compared to their respective parent companies? Yeah, I would agree. And I think it's because more Gibson, especially. Gibson's really, like, I don't mean this in any derogatory way, but it's like really riding the wave of like the senior demographic having money. I'm just being honest. Like Jerry Cantrell fans now are older, have a ton of money, you know, are retiring. Adam Jones fans are retiring now. Like, see how like they're like Gene Simmons Kiss fans, you know, it could go on and on. That demographic is now like full of money, and that's awesome for Gibson. I am not bashing or downplaying Gibson at all, and Fender is guilty of it as well. Like these big elaborate, like I said, experience packages. I made a video on it. That's awesome. But like Squire and Epiphone doesn't like cost as much money to manufacture these instruments, and therefore you can like kind of see what happens if you try something a little left to center or something a little risky, you know what I mean? And it's been doing great. Squire, I play a Squire all the time, even though that guitar's like 6 years old now, 7 years old. You know, they've been killing it for a while. Epiphone's really taken off. Like Jared James Nichols' guitar is amazing. The Gold Glory. The Matt Hafey Trivium guitar is amazing. The Prophecy line in general is amazing. You know, it's like they're killing it. So, is it surprising? Yeah. But do I understand it? Also, yeah. Elliot, hey Ray, love your videos. Thank you so much. I've been playing for 20 years and I'm still so sloppy. Got any advice on how to work on eliminating mistakes? Any books or strategies you can recommend? Thanks, brother. So, I have two things. I'll give you what you want to hear, and then I'll give you my take on it. In terms of like how to eliminate mistakes, I'm sorry, just practice. Just like an unbelievably obsessive amount of like running scales, like 3-note per string major scales, 3-note per string minor scales, in different keys. That's how I got like good. I'm still working on it myself, and that's what I wanted to say. Like, we're back. The second thing is, I almost, from coming from a personal standpoint, I almost embrace my mistakes. I view myself as like a sloppy player. One of the sloppiest players I can think of off the top of my head is like a John Frusciante, or a Phil X, or like an Ace Frehley, somebody like that. Or like, yeah, they're like, they have a ton of technical skill, but still being sloppy. And I think there's a little bit of charm in there. So anyway, I'm not telling you should seek out to be sloppy, quote unquote, but sometimes it's kind of cool to have a little bit of like swagger in your step, you know, when you play. Like, I view sloppy as like a characteristic, not necessarily something so bad. But if you're really like unhappy with the amount of mistakes you're playing or the types of mistakes you're playing, ton of scales and a ton of time on the fretboard. I've been playing for 19 years now. I'm still working on it, but I'd like to think I've gotten a little bit technical and technically proficient from just having hands on the fretboard. Just, you know, 20 years of doing something, you're gonna get kind of good at it. So that's my answer to it. I hope that helps. Can't stop jamming the single on Spotify. Oh, thank you so much. We got a brand new one for you in about 8 hours. I can't wait for you guys to hear that one. What was the main bass used on the track in your new solo album? That was my Schecter Stage 4 bass. It's back there. Yeah, there it is. Boom. That was the bass I used. Hello, Mr. Ray. I love the politeness. How long you healing after doing the Great Blackout Sleep? So like, how long did it take? The whole thing took about 1.5 years, and each time it took about 10 days to heal. But there's certain spots, like you can see right here, like my ditch needs touching up, and from my experience, my skin was like exploding, like it was splitting from the swelling, and it was not fun. And it took so long to heal, and it happened there in the ditch, and it happened really bad on my neckline in 2020, like where my neck was like splitting. It was gnarly. I can't say I don't recommend it, but be prepared if you ever want to do a crazy tattoo like that. It heals differently. I'll just say that. Opinions on fuzz. I love fuzz. It's awesome. I don't use it much, but it sounds cool. It's cool for like 60s psychedelic stuff. Hey Ray, what do you think of the Abasi dropping the Emmy same time as Ernie Ball dropping the Kaizen? I think it's weird. I really do. Like, I'm being honest. Yeah. I found out from a source that the Kaizen was in works prior to the thing that happened in 2020. So, like, it's been in the works for a long time. Like 2019, we'll say. So, for it to drop and like be in competition with his own brand, I find interesting and a little, like I said, confusing. Because they're kind of competing in the same market, like prog rock, super shredder. So it's interesting. I find it very interesting. I'm excited for Tosin because dude's succeeding like crazy, but it is interesting. From Norwood and Derby. Oh my God. That's funny. Thanks, man. Frusciante is my all-time favorite. Really appreciate this perspective. Yeah. I mean, listen to Californication. One of the easiest songs to play. And John Frusciante's a genius on the instrument. So you ain't got to play fast and technical to get your point across. Matthew Carlson, how you doing? I'm doing all right. About to wrap up the stream, I think, but I'm doing okay. So before you guys go, before all you guys just dip out, new single coming out tonight, Stay Metal Ray. If you want to follow me on all social media, all streaming platforms, I'd really appreciate it, man. I'm going for it. It's my time to do something rad. So I just want to get that out there before I leave. New single, new song come out at midnight tonight, and then it'll drop tomorrow on YouTube as well. So if you guys were interested in supporting me and helping me out, if you want to follow me and stream all that stuff, I'd really, really appreciate it. I've been doing this channel for 5.5 years now, and it's my turn to do something for realsies. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going for it. You know, it's time to do something rad and make something last and have an impact on the genre and community that I love. So I'm going for it. So new song will be tomorrow, okay? So you guys are chiming in. Answer like maybe 1 or 2 more questions. See if you guys have anything else you want to get off your chest, and then I'll get out of here. Ray, you should put a band together and you lead it. Yeah, I mean, if I ever were to do that, it would just be for what I'm doing now, but just play my songs live. I don't even necessarily like being the leader. I wish we could all be a team player, but somebody's got to be the leader, right? We'll see, man. Been trying Drop C. Do you have any recommendations on some good songs to start with? Drop C songs. Anybody want to help out? Stricken by Disturbed. I like that one. Mariana's Trench by August Burns Red. Backburner by August Burns Red. I think Change by Deftones is in Drop C. Nikki Tedesco rules. Heck yeah, she does. I love Nikki. She's awesome. Ray, sort out your life first, then get the band later. All right. I appreciate the recommendation. My life's good. My life has been sorted, but I appreciate that. I guess now I'm ready for a band. Are You Dead Yet? Children of Bodom. There you go. Resurrection. There you go. My Own Summer. My Own Summer's drop C sharp, not drop C. If we want to get technical. Yeah, there you go. There's some suggestions. All right, everybody. I tell you what. I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you guys so much for watching and being so cool to me and so rad to me. It means a lot. Thank you to everybody who sent in a super chat. Helps out the channel a lot. So I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and be on the new lookout for some new music material from me in a couple hours and tomorrow. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. Later, y'all.